Welcome to Heartglow CEO, where high achievers evolve into purpose-driven powerhouses. I'm Casey Rossi, your integrative leadership coach. Join us to break free from people-pleasing and burnout, exploring mindset, embodiment, and soul alignment. Discover expert insights, success stories, and actionable tips for holistic wealth on your terms. This is where transformation meets the modern female leader. Let's go. Are you a spiritual entrepreneur wondering how to align your mission to serve with financial abundance? Today, we're diving into the principles of spiritual economics to show you how spiritual success and financial profit can harmoniously coexist. I was inspired to create this episode for a couple of reasons. First, because I noticed that Audible tagged this podcast in the categories of spirituality and economics, which I thought was cool. And second, because I enjoy Eric Butterworth's great book titled Spiritual Economics. He says prosperity is a way of living and thinking, and not just money or things. I agree wholeheartedly, and that's why I've been teaching about holistic wealth for years. What comes to mind when you think of spiritual economics? I'm going to pause for a moment so you can have your thoughts on the subject bubble up. Okay, got it? Let's dive in together now, starting with mindset. What is your mindset around success? I was just talking to a friend recently, and we were comparing the influence of our childhood and our relationship with money. Part of my upbringing included being told that hard work is honest work. I was praised when I worked hard, and I connected wealth and abundance with having to push and hustle for it. What about you? The good news is once we are aware of patterns of behavior and thoughts that don't serve us, we can choose again. And again if we have to. I love that. You are never stuck. Never. So what state of mind would you like to subscribe to now? How can you lean into abundance being a state of mind and not just a financial measure? Did you know that the word affluence literally means abundant flow? Think of that for a minute. Affluence literally means abundant flow. So if you find yourself struggling with a lack and limitation mindset, maybe feeling like you don't know what to charge or how to value your services, or being too guilty to raise your rates, I'd like you to consider the power of conscious value exchange. What does that mean? It's a philosophy that your profit, is a reflection of the value that you provide. Note, this is not a reflection of your self-worth. I think that's where many of us get caught up. It's a reflection of your product or service and the value that it brings to your client or customer. This is where the exchange comes in. They're paying you for that value. They're paying you for that service that supports them, that product that benefits them in some way. That's the exchange. The fastest way to bust through any limiting belief that may be holding you back from rising in your company or imposter syndrome is to focus on who you are serving and how you can help them. The moment you take the focus off of you and shift it to your client, the energy changes for the better. Can you feel the difference? This is when being dialed into your mission helps steer the ship, and when the focus on both service and sustainability becomes the fuel. Fun fact, consumers are increasingly supporting businesses that align with their values. Isn't that awesome news? According to Nielsen, 73% of consumers prefer to purchase from purpose-driven companies. I know because you're listening to this that you fall into that category. A values-driven approach not only serves others, but also appeals to an aligned audience. Are you sharing your values enough with your people? Are they really being able to tune into you? If someone was to ask what is, and then fill in the name of your business, what are their values? would they be able to boom, 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 come up with the 3 bullet points right off the top? Something to consider. Something to weave into your marketing if they wouldn't be able to immediately be like, that Casey, she stands for impact, freedom, and mastery. And maybe those words would not exactly be used, but the essence would be there. Can they do that for you and your business? What might support you to feel that your work is inherently valuable? Think about that for a minute. How does your product or service help people? What transformations have you seen from past experiences? Note all that down. I often invite clients to keep an awesomeness audit of positive feedback and micro wins. This helps when it comes to instilling a deserving notion of compensation. This self-validation is the first step in knowing your worth. Once you cultivate that deep knowing and confidence, it will be easier to flow with the flow and accept. In fact, one of Butterworth's foundational concepts is the law of divine flow. He emphasizes that life operates through a divine, continuous flow of abundance. We are not separate from this flow. Instead, we are channels for it. Just hearing that brings a sense of calm, doesn't it? When was the last time that you felt in alignment? Like there was an ease and a flow that allowed money to come in? When you had ideas and opportunities circulating freely, like there was no snatching or grabbing in your mind, in your core, it was just this feeling of flow and ease. I encourage you to pause and jot a few things down or go back to this transcript and journal more intently on that, especially if you're feeling disconnected in the moment. Tapping in when you were in flow allows your system to know that it is possible. We have to get our mind on board for any change work. So if we can show proof, if there's data that we can mine, it's going to be helpful. It's going to serve you. You have the muscle memory to replicate it. And many times it's with less effort, not more, that you can achieve this state of acceptance and flow. Another key concept is the myth of scarcity. Scarcity is a perception, not a reality. I'm going to repeat that. Scarcity is a perception, not a reality. What belief is keeping you from accessing abundance and thoughts that the universe has your back? And then question that belief. Is it true? Is it really true? For example, if you wake up and see others around you succeeding and wonder why it's not happening for you, or if you unconsciously think that you're not good enough to have your big desires, these are signs that there's a block to your true abundance. And I know it can be frustrating when you know you're meant for more, but it's just not happening. You just can't seem to get there. One way to overcome this is to examine your thoughts. Replace limiting beliefs such as there's just not enough with affirmations of sufficiency and plenty. You know that true prosperity starts within. I know you know this. And as consciousness rises, it's even more essential to tune within and start forming a relationship with your intuition so that it leads you effortlessly, consistently, like it becomes this inner voice that you can literally turn to, lean into, and trust. I hope that you have that. And if you don't, it's absolutely something that you can practice. It is a skill that can be developed. I've often said that intuition is not some mystical, magical thing that is only reserved for a special few. It is mystical and magical, but it's a birthright. It's something that you have within you if you choose to cultivate it. Prosperity is not about acquiring wealth, but about achieving a state of mind rooted in inner peace, gratitude, and faith. Have you heard the saying, where your attention goes, your energy flows? That's powerful. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. So if your attention is going on what you don't have, the low number of likes and followers, your actions and results will match that. I mean, it's just going to match it. Think of a magnet. It will be drawn to its energetic vibrational match. However, conscious entrepreneurs can intentionally focus on service and trust that financial success will follow. Like it just has to. It's a law. Prosperity literally means to go forward with hope. To go forward with hope. I find etymology illuminating. When we go back to the root of most things, there's clarity. There's clarity that arises. Another spiritual law is give and you will receive. This isn't limited to financial giving, but includes sharing time, energy, and talent. That same friend that I mentioned I visited with sent me a note the following day saying, "Thank you for sharing the gift of time." What a nice sentiment. I really stopped when I read that. Time is one of our most valuable assets, and the older I get, the more I realize that truth. How can you adopt a generous mindset? Is there something that you've been holding back on? I oftentimes encounter entrepreneurs that feel cautious about sharing too much information, too many trade secrets on social media. Like if they give their best stuff away on podcasts, blogs, or interviews, that no one will want to buy from them. What do you feel about this? According to the spiritual law, what you provide others will inherently return to you in some way. Something to ponder and moreover practice for yourself. Money, according to Butterworth, is not inherently good or bad. It's neutral. It becomes powerful when we use it to express our spiritual values and intentions. This brings to mind when I think of spiritual people who aim to be neutral, like good is fine and bad is fine. There is no better or worse, there just is. And in the isness, life is unfolding for your eventual betterment. That concept takes so much pressure off. It also dovetails into the word prosperity. Go forward in hope. Can you imagine choosing to unhook yourself from the constant pressures to perform and sell? If you allowed yourself to see money as a tool to expand your mission and to make a positive impact, what do you think would change? How would you show up? What would you do differently? A study by Harvard Business Review found that purpose-driven companies perform better financially in the long term, with higher customer loyalty and employee engagement. So, my friend, how can you realign your mindset to invite more flow? Jot this down. I am in the flow of divine abundance, and all my needs are met. Now put it somewhere where you can affirm this daily with feeling and belief. I am in the flow of divine abundance, and all my needs are met. Keep me posted as to what changes you experience. I cannot wait to hear. Until next time, my friend, breathe joy. Lastly, I'd be grateful if you left a review on this episode or the Heart Glow CEO podcast in general. It helps other listeners find me. You can head on over to lovethepodcast.com/brilliance. Thank you.